Thus far in this module, we've worked with port groups for virtual machines. That's where our virtual machines connect to on the virtual switch. The VM network is the default virtual machine port group. However, it may be beneficial to create additional port groups so that you can customize traffic management on a set of virtual machines. In fact, let's say that the WiredBrain Coffee Company has some virtual machines that need to be on a specific VLAN, or they have specific traffic shaping requirements. Let's create a new virtual machine port group that we can use to fulfill those requirements. We're here in the vSphere client, and again, we're configuring port groups on a per host basis because that's how vSphere standard switches are configured. So if we wanted the same port group on every host in a cluster, and we wanted to be able to migrate our virtual machines using vMotion from one host to another, we'd have to make sure that the virtual machine port group names remain the same between hosts so that when the virtual machines migrate, they're still connected to the same virtual machine port group. In our case, if we want to add this new port group, we'll go ahead and click Add Networking, then select here to add a new virtual machine port group for a standard switch. I'll click Next. We'll select an existing switch, which is our vSwitch 0. Note that we have an option here to create a new standard switch, but we're not going to do that at this point. I'll click Next, and then let's give this new port group a custom network label. We'll call it Traffic Shaping 1, and click Next and Finish. All right, so here's our new traffic shaping port group that we configured. Let's go ahead and click here to edit the settings on this port group. And notice you can configure custom security settings, traffic shaping, teaming, and failover settings. In our case, we'll use traffic shaping and we'll override the virtual switch defaults. We'll choose to enable traffic shaping, and then maybe we want to restrict this average, peak, and burst size settings and click OK. And then we can easily move a virtual machine by connecting its network adapter to the new traffic shaping port group and clicking OK. We'll go back to the virtual switch configuration. We see the new traffic shaping port group that we created and our virtual machine that we connected to this port group so that this virtual machine will have its network traffic shaped right here using the port group traffic shaping configuration. So you saw how to create a port group, how to edit settings on the port group, and then of course removing the port group is just as easy, but you need to make sure that any virtual machines that you've created and connected to the port group are actually migrated off to another port group before you remove your port group. So that's how you create, configure, and remove port groups in VMware vSphere.